So guys, Grant Gustin has recently talked about the real reason why he decided to leave The Flash at season 9. So if this sounds interesting, let's hop into it and let's talk about it. Yo, what is going on guys, Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on the Flash TV show. Yes, it's been a while since I've done a video on the Flash TV show. And yeah, of course, we've had The Flash that's wrapped up completely with its 9th and final season a couple of weeks ago. And regardless of whether you guys enjoyed the finale or not, there is no doubt that this show has had an incredible legacy. It's had 9 seasons, and of course it's had its ups and downs, but one of its highlights were always the cast, especially Grant Gustin, who's absolutely stole the show and will always be my Barry Allen. He's completely stole the show, turned the Flash into one of my favorite characters ever, and he's always put in his A game whenever he showed up on set to play this character. It's honestly crazy to think that this show has ended. It just feels like, another season just ended, and it feels like we're gonna get more, but of course we know this is the last season. And as I said, regardless of whether or not you guys enjoyed the finale or not, there is no doubt that this show has definitely made one hell of an impact. It's had such a great run, and aside from its ups and downs, definitely Grant Gustin's Flash has always stood out and is going to be everyone's Barry Allen for a very, very long time. Grant Gustin will forever be known as this character from this point onwards. But yeah, now ever since the show has ended, this of course gave Grant Gustin a lot of time to do some stuff that he wasn't able to do before, whether that be spend more time with his family or even spend time with fans, in which recently Grant Gustin has been doing a lot of panels, a lot of fan conventions and stuff like that, where he shows up, talks about the Flash and various other things like that. And one of the things he's revealed most recently is the reason why he left the Flash, why they decided to end the Flash at season 9. This was the most recent interview. It came out in June the 8th and it's from the Direct. I will link in the description down below. But yeah, it is very interesting. Of course, we will read over it and break it all down. So yeah, the article states, during a panel at Phoenix Fan Fusions, the Flash star Grant Gustin shared his reasoning for the show coming to an end after 9 seasons on the CW. So Gustin admitted to being overwhelmed as a 23-year-old that was leading that type of show, keeping his anxiety in check for years. As he grew up during this run, he felt it was time to wrap things up when he realized how many times he'd missed bedtimes for his daughter, while also not wanting to do the show at less than 100%. Now, of course, this is paraphrased, but Grant Gustin shared it was very overwhelming to be a 23-year-old that was leading that type of show, running on for 9 years and being the main lead. He tried not to think about it to keep the anxiety in check. As he grew older, he realized with age his world kept changing and knew it was time to wrap the show up. When he thought of all the bedtimes he was missing for his daughter, he didn't want to ever do the show at less than 100%, so it was time. Now, in regards to all of this, of course, it is very, very understandable. The show's been going on for 9 years, and of course, it's had a big impact in many people's lives, especially Grant Gustin's. But for 9 years, of course, a lot has changed. He's been married at that time. He now has a kid. His priorities change. And of course, with being a main star, being a main lead and having long working hours, you're going to miss a lot of time with other personal things, which you'd want to prioritize more of. And as he says, he misses bedtimes with his daughter, for his daughter, stuff like that. And realistically, those would be more of a priority because it's his real life. Those things would be more of a priority than the Flash, which he's been doing for 9 years and has had an incredible run as well. So of course it does make sense that he's decided, right, season 9 could be it. He did talk about the fear of missing out, if there was a 10th season and he didn't want to be there or stuff like that. He did talk about that before as well. I know I'm paraphrasing over here, but I think this is why they decided to end it with season 9 and of course end it with the legacy of Barry Allen. Of course, it did say that he did not try to think about it to just keep his anxiety in check, and that was being the main lead for 9 years, of leading that type of show where you work for so long and of course have 20 episodes a season, where of course in season 9 they only had 13 episodes, so it was much easier. And of course he was given his time, he was given a lot more time in the season as well. There's a lot of episodes which Barry Allen wasn't really the main priority and he wasn't always around, which in the case of the main lead, you would expect them to be there in almost every episode. But in a lot of the episodes in season 9, Barry was barely in the episodes, and with the final season didn't really make too much sense. But in like the personal side for like, the actor, his mental health and like, his life in general, it is understandable to like see where he is coming from. And he did say he didn't want to ever do the show at less than 100%, so it was time. In which, in regards to that, of course, whenever Grant Gustin is on screen, whether it be Barry Allen or whether it be The Flash, he's always given 100%. Like, he's always at his A game. He's a very, very talented actor, and he always steals the show. But with season 9, like, and not just with season 9, like even when it got to like season 6, 7, 8, and 9, I wouldn't say he's always given 100%, because there's a lot of episodes which he was sidelined in, like he was very, very absent in when he shouldn't have. Like, this is your main lead, this is the Flash. And because of like this, for example, you'd have other characters take up the main spotlight and you'd have your main character barely be in the episode. And this was more so in season 9 as well, where you would expect the main priority to be on the main character, the Flash, because this is the Flash after all. This is his show. It's not Team Flash. That's why for season 9, for example, it didn't really make too much sense. And if the show kept going, of course, there was going to be more of this, more episodes, which Grant Gustin would be more so absent in than present as the main spotlight. And that's why he probably believed that it was time to wrap it all up right now as well. And also, when you really think about it, there wasn't really any much you could do more of the character with. Like, he's already leveled up to his like fullest potential. Like, there's nothing you could really do to fully develop the character any more than he already is. So that does also make sense that they decided to end it with season 9. Now, the article does also talk about whether Grant Gustin will ever return as the Flash or not, and it does say Grant Gustin has been nothing but complimentary of his time working on the Flash, and that he couldn't be more grateful to have worked with a team on the show who understood who the Flash was and supported him in the role. Like, this character, this is forever going to be what Grant Gustin will be known for, just because of how much of an impact the show had, and of course for how long it's been going on for. And because of how popular Grant Gustin has become because of this character, he will always be known as the Flash. And for a certain generation, he will be the Flash, just like how for a certain generation, Christopher Reeve is their Superman. For another generation, Henry Cavill is their Superman. It's kind of like that, where Grant Gustin, he's now stuck with this role. He will forever be known as the Flash, regardless of what other role he does. And because of that, questions will always come up whether he will be down to return anytime soon for like a cameo in the DCU or whatever else it might be. But yeah, this article does continue. But even with The Flash season 9 seemed to mark the end of the Arrowverse, showrunner Eric Wells teased the potential that more could be on the way, explaining that he's still hopeful that the Arrowverse is not over. And in regards to like, the whole CW thing with Nexstar and all of that, I don't think any other Arrowverse show is coming. Maybe something could be happening down the line in terms of like the comic book side of things, but I don't think that we're going to be getting any more shows DC related. So in regards to that, I don't really see it. And then the article does continue. Even so, he expressed a sense of disappointment that season 10 wouldn't go into development for the CW. Once again, with like what's going on with Nexstar and stuff like that as well, I don't know if it would have happened if the show did. It probably would have. If Grant Gustin was down to do 10 seasons, it probably would have. But again, I don't know. But yeah, it does continue, leaving fans to wonder if Gustin will ever strap on his Scarlet Lightning boots for another go-round in another setting. It could happen for the Flash movie. I haven't seen the Flash movie yet, so I don't know. I do see it tomorrow, so that's going to be very exciting. But, he could appear down the road, maybe in the DCU. He could make a cameo eventually, or what would be really, really cool is give it like a couple of years and he returns as like a DCU version of Jay Garrick. I think that would be really, really cool to see. And like the only reason I say this is of course because John Wesley Shipp, he was the Flash and then he ended up becoming Jay Garrick down the line. So if Grant Gustin does get that same treatment, I think that would be really, really cool. But of course, Grant Gustin, he is the most favored Flash out of anyone who's played the character so far, and he will be for a very, very long time. So of course it would be absolutely amazing to see him again. Maybe it could be eventually on Superman and Lois if that does get a season 4. I don't know, but you know, he did say that he would be open to return if something did show up, but whether it will be anytime soon, I very, very highly doubt it. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all of this. I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.